You'll be able to see the video. Now let's start back over again. So good evening, everyone. My name is Maya Lawrence, and I'm the Director of Student Engagement here at Park University. Welcome to Park University's Parent Panel. Before I introduce you to today's panelists, I would like to introduce the President of Park University, Dr. Greg Gunderson.
Thanks, Maya. Hello, everyone. This is, of course, for you, a new experience. Many of you are sending your son or daughter off to school for the first time. And for us, this parent orientation is a new format. COVID has challenged us and created opportunities in many ways. And I appreciate the opportunity for us to get to meet you this afternoon, for our panel to meet you. I think you'll find there's not a more supportive group that you're going to find anywhere in higher education, and you'll see that today. And we are so incredibly happy to welcome you into what we call a Parks family. You and your students will hear us talk about #OneFamily, and it's more than a concept at Park. It's how we view our relationship with those that you love in the same way that you do. We know that your students are precious to you. They represent the single largest investment you will make in your life outside of buying a home. And the commitment that you make to send them to college, it will transform their lives in many ways. Data tells us financially, but beyond that, the relationships they will form, the expansion of their perspective are priceless. And we don't transform their lives, we create a platform that does it, but they are precious to us, and we want everything that you want for them, that you envision, we want to provide. I want to stress a couple of things that are true this year as much as in any year. And one of them is that we are incredibly serious about their academic success. In the COVID era, we are delivering more credits online than we have historically. But I want you to know that we have been online before Google. In fact, Park celebrates its 25th anniversary this year of delivering academic content online. And we are well positioned to meet your students' needs, regardless of what challenges COVID will present into tomorrow and beyond, through what we call modalities, or the mechanisms by which we can offer curriculum in the academic setting. I also want you to know that our high quality in-person coursework still exists. And so many of your students are still taking classes that have a face-to-face component. We focus on providing small class sizes. All of our classes are taught by faculty. They're paid adults who are degreed in their field. We don't have graduate students teaching our classes. And we think that's an important part of the liberal arts experience. I want you to know that in the online experience, we invested over $500,000 this summer revamping our classes so that they could be more flexible and more engaging online. And we want to provide that virtual experience, that connection to their peers and their faculty online as effectively as we do face-to-face. It's very important that they become involved, and it is a more difficult environment here in the era of COVID disruption. But there are opportunities. You're going to hear more from the panel today about how they can become engaged, how they can stretch themselves and try out new things, develop skills that they didn't think they had, or to leverage the strengths they have in new and interesting ways. And so even during a time of social distancing, you will hear about opportunities. And I would, if I could offer you one important piece of advice from the beginning, work with your student to see that they take advantage of those opportunities, because that's where the real transformative experience occurs, is in the areas that they didn't expect to grow and the relationships they didn't expect to make. We're also very serious about their well-being and safety in all years, but in particular this year. I'm pleased to share with you that niche.com recognized Park University as the safest college campus in the state of Missouri, that they're looking at criminal data. And we are the 25th safest college in the United States. And so it's a great place for someone to have their academic experience. Even more importantly, in response to the coronavirus, we have established on-site and virtual facilities and programs to support their physical and mental well-being. We have counselors and other services in place that students can access both face-to-face and other ways, from tutoring to counseling, that we have put into place for this year, and are really situated well to help them with any challenges And there will be challenges every student faces, but the support is available here at Park, and we hope they take advantage of it. As we talk about cleaning tools that have been brought to bear this year, I'll share with you that we've reduced our dorms to 50% capacity, so we would provide single rooms. That came at a significant financial expense, but more importantly, it provides the secure environment we feel is essential in establishing social distancing. We'll have face masks everywhere on campus, including the classroom. In the classroom, we will have 6-foot social distancing, and we have a disinfecting protocol using electrostatic equipment that will clean between each and every class. We have Purell stands to disinfect one's hands literally every 50 feet or so going down the hallway. And we've limited our classrooms, so we aren't using all of our classrooms, using our largest classrooms. So even with the 1-to-20 ratio, we can provide the secure social distance environment that's essential. Park is committed to having an environment that is safe. And I will share with you, as of this afternoon, we had about 200 employees that we started testing this week for COVID testing. We had 1 employee come up positive that I'm aware of, and that is someone who's a distance employee that isn't actually physically in the office. They're working from home. And so even they wouldn't have come into contact with students. It's not to say COVID won't happen in the community that we're in or on campus, but we're taking serious steps to protect their interests. And our panelists can answer questions that you have related to that. I will tell you that I am accessible. I have open office hours every Wednesday from 9 to 11. Your student can contact my secretaries or reach out at president@park.edu and schedule a time, as can you. I make myself available to all stakeholders in our university family. And if there's something happening where you're concerned, let me know. I've had parents say their son or daughter's not returning their phone calls. I will find them. I will take a cell phone picture and I will send it to you. And I guarantee you, after the president visits someone to say, you need to call your mom or dad, they tend not to need that additional inducement a second time. And so it does work. You'll find on the panel today, my wife, Lori Gunderson, is on the phone. She's at the university residence right now. I'm in my office on campus. She is also someone that is accessible and that she would be someone you can reach out to. I would tell you all freshmen have an opportunity to engage in a meeting with Lori and I, my wife and I, where we talk about the history of the institution. We tend to take their picture and mail it to their families. We're going to come up with a different way to do it in Zoom, but part of that communication is how to contact Lori as well as myself. We really do view ourselves as your proxy, that's someone that can help you as you face challenges. I would end with that during this time when more and more families have thought about just taking a gap year and stepping out, I want to thank you for staying the course. The fundamental reality is people who take a gap year tend to take 2 and then 3 and so on. Starting their education in a timely manner, moving forward towards what is success is essential, and this is a critical first step. At Park, I believe student success is getting them graduated earlier, more often, with less debt, and higher pay 10 years out. That's what I'm committed to, and with your help and their focus, we will get them there. And Park is a place that can and does happen every day. And with that, I would return the floor back to Maya, and I will be exiting the panel conversation physically here in my office, but I'll be joining my wife at the house. So if there's any questions that the rest can't answer, I'll be around as well. So thank you very much, Maya.
Thank you for that welcome, Dr. Gunderson. So our main purpose today for being here is that we want to give you, the parents, the guardians, the opportunities to get the answers for the questions that might not be searchable on the website or addressed in our official marketing materials. Questions like, what are the cafeteria, res halls, and the campuses planned for fall? Or what happens if my son gets depressed? And how do I find out if my daughter is failing a course? You know, this is the stuff that parents really want to know. But before we address the questions we've received, I want to make sure that I let you all know who we have actually as panelists today. So we have Dr. Michelle Myers, who is our provost. We have Dr. Jamie Uden. He is the Dean of Students for Park University. I'm excited to have Lori Gunderson on the call today. She is the wife of the president and will be able to provide a parent's point of view. we have Will London. He is the Director of Campus Safety and will be able to address questions and updates relating to safety on campus. We have Tyler Price, Assistant Athletic Director, and Jamal James, Lead Athletic Trainer, representing the athletic department. We have Amanda Bryant, who is the Director of Student Support. We also have Tanya Wessel. She is the Director of Residence Life and will provide updates to questions relating to housing. We have Mrs. Flo Gerard. She is the Assistant Director of Academic Support. We have Catherine Renner. She is the Director of Parkville Student Success and can provide insight on course options and registration. We also have Leah Fletcher. She is the Director of Career Development. And lastly, we have Ella Peterson. She is a counselor from the Financial Aid Department. So now we've gotten quite a few questions from parents, and I have arranged them by areas. So let's not waste any more of your time and let's get right to the questions. So the first question, we are gonna give it towards Dr. Uden. What safety measures have been implemented for fall on campus?
Good evening, everyone. My name's Jamie Uden again. Thanks, Maya. Dr. Gunderson actually mentioned several of the things that we think are going to be important for your students. We spent a lot of time, and we'll continue to spend a lot of time putting in plans in place to keep our students and employees safe as possible. As Dr. Gunderson mentioned, we're a leader in online education, and that allows us a lot of flexibility. You've probably seen on the news as other universities have had to make decisions early about class schedules and timelines for the semester, having to end early around Thanksgiving even. Because we have online components for all of our classes, it makes it very easy for us to turn on a dime. If we ever need to go fully online, we can do it as fast as we want. Students can just continue to go online and not come face to face. So that makes it very easy for us. As Dr. Gunderson mentioned, we have a plan put in place for our classes that have face-to-face components. We'll be able to continue to keep down class sizes and create spaces in each classroom where students will socially distance. They'll have to wear masks. And after every class, we'll use our special, I call it the Ghostbuster machine, to disinfect the area. And the next class won't come in right after. We'll let that sit and disinfect, and the next group will come in. We're doing what we can to create single entrance, single exits, and all these things are recommended by the CDC. All students will be required to wear masks at all times, and of course, the hand sanitizer machines are everywhere, which is very helpful. The residence halls, I assume some of you have students living in the residence halls, will be at single occupancy, so every student will have their own room. If you're in Copley Quad, they'll actually have their own bathroom as well. Chest that they will share a bathroom with someone else, but have their own private bedroom space. We also established 22 isolation rooms. These are rooms where we can put students if they do get confirmed with COVID, so we can keep them separate from the other individuals. We provide health care to them, limited health care, and hopefully not expose other students. We fully recommend if a student gets sick, needs extra attention, that's something that you as a family need to discuss, and we encourage them to go home because we're not going to provide them the same amount of care that you will. But we're ready to give them a space and care for them the best we can, knowing a lot of students can't just go home because they're from far distances or because maybe they have a family member that's susceptible at home. There are going to be some hardships for the students in the residence halls. Where extra rules are in place, again, to create a nice safety bubble for all those students. Masks can be required outside their private bedroom. We'll only allow a certain number of students inside each room, even if they are social distancing. We're trying to keep that group size down, encourage them to go into bigger public community spaces. They're going to have to remove their own trash. That might not be something they do currently, or maybe you help them, but they're going to have to remove their own trash out of their rooms into the dumpster. And then the big one for some of our students is that they're not going to be allowed to have guests who are not residential. We're trying to create a nice bubble for them and keep the students who are going to other places out of that space. As Dr. Gunderson mentioned, we're doing testing of all face-to-face staff and faculty. We're doing that this week, next week. And then all athletes, work study students, and residential students will be tested as well prior to arriving to their spaces on campus. We think this is an important baseline. It's only that, it's a baseline, because it just tells us on that day that that student's safe. And hopefully, as we continue to enforce the safety guidelines, we've created as safe as campus as we can at the beginning. Then, as I mentioned earlier, we'll turn and make decisions as quickly as possible if we think that more students are in danger. I'll stop there. I could talk for a long time, Maya, but we can go to other questions. We can always go back to specifics if family members have questions.
So I do have one specific question for you that
Sure.
ties into a lot of the stuff you just said. I got multiple questions from parents asking if they can visit their child on campus. Will we be allowed to have visitors on campus this semester?
Yes, we want visitation. One of the most important things I assume all of us have learned is that it's important to have social engagement. Most of the time that might only be virtual for our family members. Can't go see in person, but that's important. If we can create that environment where the parents and students can find times to be together, that's great. That isn't going to happen inside the residence halls. So we'll encourage students to meet with the parents outside. We have lots of space on campus, especially while it's nice. I'm not sure it'll ever be as nice as this week currently with the weather. Find spaces on campus. Of course, still have to follow the guidelines, social distancing and masks. We also have some other community spaces that are inside buildings if the weather is too hot or rainy. Students can go our student center, library, some of the other common spaces. Those are great spaces for family to come and interact with a student. We hope to see that, but we're still prohibiting that, find that private space in residence halls. We ask parents after the move-in day not to re-enter the halls.
Thanks, Jamie.
Yep.
So next I am going to swing to athletics. And Tyler and Jamal, if you guys, I know you guys are on here. One of the questions that we received was how will the school enact social distancing when it comes to sports?
Yes, well, thank you so much. Welcome and welcome all Pirate fans out there. We're very excited to have you. Did want to start off by saying we're excited to have the fall begin coming up. First practices will be August 15th. First games will be September 5th. And we are joining the Heart of America Athletic Conference this fall, which is a new conference and a lot of regional schools, a lot of new rivals, a lot of new teams that we'll be playing. So very excited about that. I did want to have Jamel kind of talk about different protocols that our athletes will be going through as they come back to campus, and then talk a little bit about practice and games and things like that.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jamel James. Like they said, I'm the lead athletic trainer. So we have been meeting all summer to get guidelines that are directed from the CDC, also by the Heart of America Conference, along with our Park COVID Task Force. And we will be doing daily temperature checks of all our athletes prior to practices and games. They will be required to do a daily assessment on an app. We will also be having various things like everyone will have their own water bottles, won't share towels. Everyone will be required to wear a mask anytime outside of their activity. While they are participating within the field or within the court, they won't be required to wear it, but anything outside of that area in the locker rooms, walking into the buildings, everyone will be required to wear a mask on campus here. As far as travel goes, in working with the Heart and with all the athletic trainers within that conference, we all have decided that we will be testing our athletes prior to leaving campus and reporting to that trainer, to the host university, letting them know that everyone tested okay, everyone did their daily assessment, just so that every athletic trainer knows what has happened when a visiting team comes on campus. Visiting teams will be required to follow our guidelines of wearing masks while on campus and while they are not participating.
So one of the questions that we got from parents is whether or not if people will be able to attend their games. Like not just the athletes, but like if the parents wanted to go or if the students on the campus wanted to go, will those games be open to parents and students to come and attend the games?
Yes, no, that's a great question. I think I wanted to see Dr. Gunderson. I know he was the one that spearheading that effort. Wanted to see if he wanted to take that one.
Hello, everyone. Our original position was that we would not allow spectators at games. We've been watching how spectators are played out at other sporting events, and our number one goal is to ensure the safety of our players on the field and not to expose them to a bunch of additional individuals. We are looking at ways to modify that, and our athletic folks are going to make some proposals for some. Might be some options and some, for example, for volleyball and basketball, we have a conference room with a glass wall that we might be able to utilize so that families can watch. It's going to come down to how the first 2 weeks of students back on campus plays out. Our number one, number two, and three concerns are their safety and security. We want to make certain we have a handle on our social distancing is working, but we'll be releasing additional guidance September 1st. All of the schools that we played at Heart of America will publish their spectator policies. Many up here are going to be more lenient than ours, and so there will be opportunities to watch them play at other schools. And one of the reasons we changed conferences is these schools are physically much closer to us than our own conference. And so there will be opportunities to watch them play, certainly in other schools. And as we progress this year, we'll be making some decisions, but there may be some limited opportunities, but they will be, to be candid, somewhat restrictive from a social distancing to keep out of here, but that's where we're at this moment.
Thank you, Dr.
For that. And yeah, no, when we come up with that decision, we will make sure to have that posted on our website, so parkathletics.com. For all you parents out there too, please follow us, all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That's where you'll receive a lot of great information on all of our 18 sports. And then we also live stream all of our home events too. And so for this year, for the first time, all of our events will be live streamed for free, which is a very exciting venture for us. So that's at parkathletics.tv, but it will also be all over our website and all over social media all year long. So we will make sure we keep that up to date.
That's awesome. That's really good to hear. I have one last question for you guys, Tyler. I apologize for putting you guys on the hot seat.
No, it's okay.
A couple of parents actually asked about study halls. What will that look like for the fall for student athletes?
Sure. So those will be required for all of our incoming athletes, transfers, first-time freshmen, things like that. Some of our other current students that are required to do that. But those will be virtual. I know Florinda's on here as well, but they won't be in person per se, but they will have virtual opportunities to do that. But Flo is a huge area of that. So Flo, if you wanted to talk about that a little bit.
I've been talking with Coach English about all the virtual connections we can make with the athletes, with the Step Up program and tutoring. And so there's going to be a component of study hall that will require them to connect with tutoring and mentoring as well, probably on a bi-weekly basis and some on a monthly basis, dependent on the student. But we are working that into study hall because usually our department oversees study hall, but right now everything's virtual. So we're going to make it work. We're going to make it happen. That's just still working on it, but it'll be still a good experience for the athletes and assistance to helping them with their grades and so forth, providing them with all the support that they need.
Thank you guys for that update. And since we actually swung it over to Flo, if you don't mind, can you provide us some updates in regards to academic support for fall?
Sure, I'm happy to. My camera's going in and out. I'm not sure why. I've moved around the room several times, so I apologize if my picture's blurry. For me, it's blurry. I can't tell. I'm Flo Gerard. I'm Assistant Director of Academic Success Center. We were the Academic Support Center, and the services we're going to provide are going to be virtual. So all of our tutoring services, all of our mentoring services, Everything will be virtual. We are located in Norrington on campus, and we will be back in the office on the 17th, but we've been very successful this summer and through the end of spring with our numbers as far as assisting students virtually. So the students can go to our campus course where they will go to their other courses, and they can click on our course and go in there and chat with a mentor or tutor to get an appointment set up on the spot. It's called Park Tutoring and Success Resources. They can also submit a paper through our online writing submission, also schedule an appointment through that class with a tutor or a mentor. A little bit about that, our tutoring service are offered to all students, and we provide pretty much every subject area. If one comes up that we don't have, we make it happen. We find someone to tutor that area for the student. The mentoring program Step Up is a very popular program. A lot of the athletes are in it, as Tyler had commented on. We provide support through time management, study skills, organizational skills, and just an overall support system to the students. We offer those in face-to-face when that comes back around, but we also have offered virtually and had really high success. The average GPA for last year, academic year, including spring, was 3.27 for students who participated in the Step Up program. And we had a 3.26, I believe, GPA for students who saw a tutor at least 3 times. So our numbers were really good. So we're working to make it work for the students where they're at with everything that's going on in our world right now. And being a school that's already been online and we were already offering things virtually, it's a really smooth transition. We also, again, typically oversee study hall, so we are working that out again to make sure that the athletes have the support they need. Also, we oversee the testing center, and our testing center will be open on campus, and those services for makeup tests and various subject area tests will be available to the students, and there will be really strict guidelines in place as far as social distancing and things like that. And then we also handle disability services. So for disability services, we are going to handle those requests virtually, but the majority of the ones that I handle are virtual. If a parent wants to talk to me or a student wants to talk to me or see me, we can set that up. We will work it out. But any questions about any of those things as far as disability services, you can go to the bottom of any web page at Park University and just click on disability services, and it will take you straight to where you need to go, give you all the contact information. And that includes in Canvas and in My Park. You can go to the bottom and click, and you're straight there. That's, I think, all I have to cover. We're really just here to support the students, both athletes and non-athletes, and we definitely make that family connection with them to assure that we're giving them the support they need. And you're welcome to reach out to me anytime with any questions. Thank you.
Great intro, Flo. You answered every question that we received relating to your area. So I thank you for that, an awesome intro, and you guys do amazing work. This will be a good segue over to student success. Catherine, do you have any updates that you can provide to us, how you guys are going to provide resources and be able to serve students coming in the fall?
Sure. Hi, thanks to all of you parents for being here. This is an important step in your students' journey, and all of us, as you can see, are here to support you and your students during these unique and fun and interesting times. So we have been working hard all summer to make sure that students are able to get registered for their classes and still are having that connection with their student success coach. So student success is really here for just that, your success. But I think from a level that the students are asking for, we're here to help with enrollment, registration, help them create a path to degree completion, and really partner with them in their journey along with their faculty advisors as well. So you are likely aware that many of their schedules did change after they had created those schedules. We encourage students to check their enrollment, their course schedule in My Park. And then if they have questions, which I feel like they just might, we are happy to chat with them and kind of walk them through, is this class on campus? Is it meeting via Zoom? Those questions we are certainly fielding right now and are happy to continue to do so. And just generally speaking, we want to be here for them in any capacity that we can. We're uniquely suited, in my humble opinion, to also speak on things related to billing and student accounts and questions that arise about how they can set up payment plans and things of that nature. We do have a student accounts office as well that we partner with, but we, again, are happy to answer those types of questions too.
So that's another good segue, because one of the questions that we received was, what were the options for payment plans for students this fall? Can you give a little information on that?
Absolutely. Sure, that's a good question. So students have the option to set up a payment plan through, it's right in their MyPark portal. It's a system called CashNet. It's very intuitive. They've made some great updates. And their payments would be essentially in 4. So at the time that you set up the payment plan, you would be required to make that first payment along with a $35 fee, but there's no interest on that plan, which is amazing. And then their subsequent payments would take place really up until the end of the term, so that that balance is paid off by the end of the term. So for all students at the Parkville campus, that payment plan would be 4 total payments. You also, of course, can make a one-time payment in full through your MyPark portal, and you can make, if you end up with something on your account that you need to pay just mid-semester or something of that nature, you can always just go in and make a one-time payment on that as well.
Thank you, Kat, and thank you for all that you all do, and thank you for covering that portion in regards to student accounts. I appreciate you for stepping in and covering that portion. So next, we are going to swing it over to financial aid, and we have Ella on here representing the financial aid department. Ella, would you be able to provide us some updates in regards to the financial aid office and how you guys are planning on scheduling appointments with students who may want to stop in and see you all over fall?
Hi, so nice to be here with everyone. I know that this is the favorite subject to talk about, which is how to pay for the education that they get here at Park. But we really try and make it as painless as we can for everyone. There are 2 of us counselors here on campus in Parkville, and we're doing some more limited face-to-face appointments if that's something that students would feel much more comfortable with doing, or really feel like they would benefit from being able to sit down with us and walk through the different documentation that we might need. We're definitely willing to do that, but most of our information and the things that we require are already able to be done completely online. So that is beneficial, that you don't have to have that face-to-face interaction to be able to get all the information that you need. But in addition to that, we are offering Zoom as a way to be able to connect and hopefully get some of those more specific or tricky questions answered to students' liking.
So, of course, like you said, financial aid is everyone's favorite topic to talk about. A question that I got multiple times was, are there additional institutional scholarships students can be eligible for in future semesters? Can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's kind of great how Park has it set up, because on October 1st, both the application for the following year's FAFSA opens up, as well as the opportunity to apply for different scholarships through Park University. So that's definitely something, I'm sure you've heard it before, but we really encourage students to be checking their Park email over and over and over again, because a lot of that great information is sent to them there. There's a scholarship portal that they can scroll through and see the different scholarships that they're eligible for. And that scholarship application is open for just about 5 months, through October through the middle of February.
Thank you, Ella. I have one last question for you. The other question that we got a lot from parents is whether or not students will be eligible for work study funding in the fall. Is that something you can speak on as well?
Yeah, so work study, there are a lot of different factors that go into it and a lot of specific criteria. If that is something that your student is interested in doing, we would definitely recommend that you reach out to our office because there are just so many little pieces that fit together if students are eligible for that. But we'd love to be able to chat about that and see what options might be available for your student.
Thank you, Ella. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes.
I am going to swing it back over to Kat because I wanted to make sure she was able to provide the hours and times they're available and how students can actually set up appointments with the success coaches on campus. Catherine, you can go ahead.
Thank you. So Ella mentioning that how they were available made me realize that I should share that as well for my office. So my team is, of course, encouraging virtual appointments as you can and as your students can, and of course are very accessible by email and phone. But we are here on campus, and we recognize that during the first week, especially, students are likely to need to see us about one thing or the other. So we will be available for them with, of course, protocols. I think we'll be doing check-in outside and be limiting the number of students in the building. And so that should be self-explanatory when they are here on campus. We're located in the Her House. And like I said, we are physically available for them to meet with if that's necessary, but virtual appointments are, of course, encouraged. And their success coaches, all new students should get an email from their success coach, definitely within the first couple of weeks, 3 weeks, just introducing themselves and letting them know how they can get in touch with them. They each have appointment schedulers, and so they can just click on that, your students can click on that link at any time to schedule an appointment with their success coach. Thanks, Maya.
No problem. So Ella actually made me think of something as well. We spoke about work study, and I wanted to make sure that I pull Leah Fletcher in so she can give updates on career development and also maybe talk about where students can look to apply for positions on campus. So Leah, go ahead.
Yes, welcome everyone. Thanks for having us. I really wanted just to start by talking about, so Ella kind of touched on the finance piece of work study, and then the student employment coordinator in our office really helps students apply for those positions. So they can all be applied through our job portal called Handshake, and that can be accessed on park.edu/careers. So student employment is actually in the Office of Career Development, and so we kind of, all students that are looking for jobs, whether on campus or off campus, can touch base with our office.
And can you give us probably like a quick update on what all you guys provide within your office? And if students did want to make appointments on certain things other than as far as looking for a student worker position, how would they go about doing that?
Absolutely, and just a quick overview of kind of everything career development works with. So we work with undecided students, so new freshmen or sophomores that are kind of undecided, trying to figure out what majors they want to choose. We also do career exploration with students that have chosen the degree but are unsure what they want to do as a career with that. And then into the job application process. So from resumes to job search, mock interviews, salary negotiation, everything with the job search process, our office works with as well. So this mostly is for off-campus internships and full-time positions. And then we also provide networking opportunities for students, and we try to offer different workshops that help them understand the importance of networking, but also how to build a network before graduating. And then also continuing education, if students are looking to go further in their education, whether that's grad school, whether that is a couple classes here and there that could further them in their career, we help them kind of figure out which classes would be best. And then just kind of an overview of what we're doing right now. So in the spring, when everything started to happen, we worked with employers to kind of see what they're doing, especially with internships, just because we work a lot with students on that. And many had kind of went half capacity, had to push off the internships further into the year. and some were just canceled. And so we worked with students that especially had canceled internships to try to find different opportunities, whether that's an internship or some sort of other experience that they could have, especially if they were required or if they were kind of in their senior years and really needing that experience. What we're seeing now from employers is encouraging, just as Park's able to kind of open back up, they've been able to take the safety precautions, social distancing, and also remote work. We're seeing more and more full-time remote work, but also internships. And hiring managers have the capability now to kind of know how do you onboard 10 to 20 students virtually versus what they've been used to is that face-to-face. And so it's encouraging that they're kind of adjusting for both internships and full-time positions. And I know during the summer months, I know we had lots of students looking for full-time positions and worked with many on mock interviews, resume critiques, and really the virtual sessions run smoothly because of our current distant students. We work with them through Zoom already. So.
Leah, you were on point. So that little wrap up you just gave us covered all of the questions I received that relate to your area. So thank you for that. And you know, you all are doing amazing work. So we've covered finances, we've covered academic advising, we've covered athletics, we just covered career development. One of the big things we got questions about was food. What our students are going to eat and how are they going to actually get the food. So I am going to swing it over to Amanda and see if she can provide us some updates on dining for fall.
Absolutely. Thanks, Maya. So our dining center will still be open this fall semester for all of our students. We are going to be limiting our hours a little bit to make it easier for our dining staff to clean the space and make sure that it's safe and prepared for our students as they come in for the next round of food. But we will be open for a breakfast, lunch, and dinner every weekday, and then a brunch and dinner schedule on weekends. We will work with athletics and chat about making sure that our student athletes have a chance to get over to the dining hall, because I know that's always a question every year. And so we'll be sure that they know the hours of dining in case that becomes a question that they might have. We also encourage students to take advantage of the Pirate Pantry we have on campus. So we have a pantry that's located in Labor Hall, which is on the side of campus next to the Sports Center. And students can go in there or request food from that center for free. We get donations from the community, from other people at Park. And a lot of students have definitely taken advantage of it this summer, which has been really awesome. Lori Gunderson has really kind of spearheaded all of that. And I know that they've done some awesome things, making sure that our students have food to eat while they're here on campus and while they're away doing what they're doing this summer. Dining also has a couple other dining features around campus. I will let you know that not all of them will be open this school year. So Savor, which is our sandwich shop that's usually open in Thompson, we're going to keep it closed at least for the first part of the year and see how things go. But we will keep our coffee shop, which is called the Jolly Roger. It's located in the library. It'll be open in the mornings on weekdays because we all know we need that little jolt of caffeine to get started for our classes.
So this is a good segue. I have you on here, and another question was Pirate Fitness. They wanted to know if options will be available for students to work out or have options to like workout centers and different things like that. Can you speak on that?
Absolutely. So Pirate Fitness is our wellness and fitness program that we have on campus. We have 3 different locations that students could usually use. This year we have decided for the fall semesters, we are going to leave the 2 fitness centers that are in our residence halls closed for the time being, while we make determinations about what the best process will be to allow students to use those spaces safely. But we will have our main fitness center, which is located in Labor Hall, open for residential students. So if a student is living on campus, they'll have card access to be able to use that space. We're also going to work with athletics again to make sure that the students who need to use the Labor Hall Fitness Center for all of their conditioning and training have the ability to do that as well. We are limiting the space to those 2 groups of students right now to make sure that we have a limited number of folks that are coming in and out and using the space to make it easier, frankly, for us to keep it clean and disinfected. My staff members will be making sure that they clean everything after every student is using them. We're going to spread students out on the equipment. We're spreading equipment out as well. We have removed all the opportunities to do kind of that group play. So no pickup basketball games, but they can use the basketball court to do further workouts, take their yoga mats out there, do some stretches. And we're just making sure that all of the things that students might be utilizing are being sanitized between uses.
And the last question that I know you will be awesome with answering, I got a lot of questions in regards to like mental health and access to counseling. Is that something that you can speak on, our counseling services and stuff that we do on campus?
Absolutely. So Park has an in-person counseling center here on our Parkville location. We have 2 full-time counselors during the school year who work to provide appointments to all of our Parkville students or Kansas City area students. They are licensed to provide counseling in both the states of Kansas and Missouri. So if we have a student who is commuting and is at home in Missouri but wants to do some virtual counseling sessions, they'll be able to do that, as well as our students in the state of Kansas. They're also going to make sure that they have some time to set up appointments for students who want to do anything face-to-face. They're looking at reorganizing their offices right now to provide that safe social distancing, but they do plan on being open. They also have a couple of graduate students that are here working on their graduate counseling degree, and so they hold office hours as well, and we'll be able to provide those services for all of our students. And it's free, which is really awesome. And so a student can stop in one time to talk about being stressed about a test, or could create a schedule with the counseling center to come in multiple times throughout the semester. A couple other things that we're doing through Pirate Fitness from that wellness perspective is we're looking at some online programming that we can use related to mindfulness and mental health awareness. And so we'll encourage students to kind of keep an eye on their email and on Crew, because we'll be sending out information on how to participate in those coming up.
Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate your time. We are going to move it over to safety, and we have Will London on the call. Will, if you don't mind, can you please give an update on your department in regards to how students can come in and be able to get IDs and parking stickers and different things like that?
Well, we hope they don't get any tickets, right? So thanks, parents, for coming out today. We appreciate it here at Park. So just to give everybody some idea of what kind of services Park Campus Safety offers, we're the official lost and found. If any one of your students loses a laptop, loses a pair of sunglasses, a set of keys, or anything, you'd be surprised the stuff that gets turned into us. Everybody's brings it in, even if it's just a simple hat or something. So we log everything, keep track of everything, and then after about 90 days, if nobody claims those items, we donate them to charity. We're also I'd be failed to remiss to say that we're see something, say something campus. So if you see something that just doesn't look right, or something that is criminal in activity, we offer confidential folks, if they can stay confidential, if they want to report a crime or know who committed a crime, or they're hearing talk about a crime. So we encourage that with all the students, staff, and faculty. Additionally, we are the focal point for ID cards and vehicle registrations. You can actually go online and register your vehicle online, and that saves a lot of time when you come into the office here. We are open 24/7. We're a 24/7 operation. We always have officers on property. And I would recommend, if you're going to come in and get an ID, try to do it during the day. I usually have a full-time dispatcher in the office during that time period, or he or she can get your ID and get your vehicle registered for you. I noticed that Dr. Gunderson had mentioned that we're, according to niche.com, we're the 25th safest university in America, and we are. And the reason we are is because of I credit all to my staff and the relationships that we've built over the years with multiple law enforcement agencies. And but one of the questions I get more than anything is, what do we do in the case of an emergency? And that kind of brings me up to my next topic, which is If there's a medical emergency, all of the officers here are all trained in first aid, CPR, and AED. They're all certified in that, and that's a mandatory requirement for all safety officers. The fire department's 1 minute away. They're right down the road from the South Platte Fire, so we have a really good working relationship with them and Parkville Police Department. We do have the capabilities of locking down if that becomes necessary. We also have our emergency alert system called Park Alert. I would highly recommend signing up for Park Alert. It can be easily done just by going to My Park and searching for Park Alert. In fact, we have just came online a new mobile app that we can, through our protocols, we had to be at a computer to send out a message. Well, now with our new app, we can do it through a phone. And more to come on that later. That just came online about 3 days ago. So, but I highly encourage everyone to sign up for Park Alert. That can alert you of anything from an active shooter situation or a bomb threat, a tornado, just a number of emergencies that we need to get out to the public quickly, to the park community quickly. So, and that's about it, Maya. We're here, and our number one concern is the safety of the students. I failed to mention escorts too, security escorts. If the student doesn't feel safe, walking from point A to point B, wherever that may be, while on property, we do offer escorts. Right now, we're not doing vehicle escorts for obvious reasons because we're trying to practice the social distancing. But we'll walk with you, and get you from, like I said, from point A to B to point A to point B safely. So that covers about any questions that I could think of, Maya, or any services we offer.
And honestly, that covered almost everything that they actually asked. What I did want to mention, you brought up Park Alert and the fact that students can register for the parking stickers online. The students should already have the links for both where to sign up for Park Alerts as well as how to register their cars, because I've sent it to them at least twice. So if your students are saying they do not have these links or they don't know where to access them, please tell them to open up their emails and they will have the links there. Thanks so much, Will. I appreciate you.
No problem.
So we are going to go over to Res Life. And Tanya, would you be able to give us a quick update on what Res Life is doing for fall?
Absolutely, yeah. So as was mentioned, with our 2 residence halls on campus, Copley Quad and Chestnut, we've gone down to 50% occupancy, so single occupancy for those buildings, meaning where there used to be 4 in a suite, there's now 2, and similarly over in Chestnut with the shared bathroom, there'll be 1 person on each side. So our hope by spreading folks out that helps be proactive against any risk of COVID. Additionally, we have identified in both buildings an isolation floor. So in the event that there are cases that we need to work with students, we have some areas that are designated specifically for those purposes. With going down to 50%, that puts us about a little under 200 students that will be on campus here in the fall. And so we're getting ready for those move-in days here next week.
So one of the questions that I received, and I know I spoke with you about it earlier, we've had multiple parents ask about the possibility for additional rooms becoming open. Is that something you can speak on?
Sure, yeah. So when we sent out the notice in June, there was that housing priority form and deadline, and we used that to assign the spaces that we do have. And when we did reach a point that we knew that we were going to be full and have students in waiting, we created a waiting list. And so there are at this point about 70 or 80 students that are on that waiting list. And we were able to communicate to them in early July their status and connected them with resources in the community here as far as off-campus apartments that are nearby, as well as some roommate matching resources. And so students on the waiting list should have received a Google Doc connection that would allow them to connect with other folks that are looking for roommates here at Park off campus. And so those were some tools that were out there, realizing that we were hoping for movement on our waiting list as spaces opened up, but encouraging students to do that. Just this last week, as we realized that we're definitely getting to that point of little to no movement anticipated here as we get closer to classes, we did communicate with those students still on the list this week and let them know that we anticipate, again, highly unlikely that spaces would become available. And so again, connecting them with those resources as well as over in student support if they're needing help with technology or laptop connections, that those resources are available for students as well.
And last question, I think this is something that you may enjoy. They asked about resident assistants and they wanted to know how were they selected and what type of training do they go through? I wanted to know if you could speak on that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. We're actually in the midst of that. So our resident assistants came back to campus and started training this Monday. So they've been in the trenches, full days of learning and getting ready to welcome students back. They're excited about the connecting with students as they're moving in on move-in day, as well as planning for support throughout the semester. So our team of resident assistants are returning students to Park. They got connected on campus or saw a need to get connected to serve the students that live with us. And so they go through a process in the spring and in February, actually a student leader selection process across campus, including our other student leadership positions. And then once they're hired on, we connect with them as the semester wraps up with the student leader retreat. Again, this year we did that over Zoom, have to get creative with those connection points. But starting early, preparing for the fall, and then they come back with 2 weeks of training, everything from policies and procedures, student support, and then that community development connection piece. And again, this year looking at how we can do that creatively while also social distancing through our outreach as well as in our community spaces. I should have mentioned earlier, throughout the residence halls, there are lobby spaces, but we've done some social distancing there to spread out and make those safe spaces for students to connect.
Thank you, Tanya. That is a good segue into the engagement piece. A lot of the questions that we got were relating to how can students get engaged, get involved while on campus, while social distancing? Like, what will that look like for the fall? And that's actually something that I can speak on because I've been working hard trying to figure out exactly what that will look like. Of course, fall is not going to look like what it will normally look like, but the big thing is there will be opportunities for students to engage, whether virtually, and there will be limited opportunities for them to engage face-to-face. Our student leaders, our student organizations have been encouraged to be creative and figure out other ways to be able to still build bonds with each other and still actually provide programming for their classmates, but not just in the traditional way. They've done everything from having virtual video games, actually virtual social gatherings. They've had virtual dance parties, whatever you can think of virtually, the students have been able to figure out how to do that. Additionally, one thing that I got as far as the questions is how would their students be able to find out how to get engaged if they aren't doing a lot of things face-to-face on campus. We have a platform that all Park University students have access to that's called Crew. And inside Crew, all of the student organizations have their own pages, and on there they're able to post like what programming they're having, how students can get connected, when will their meetings be. So the students have access to be able to see exactly what is going on campus in one place. So that should make it easy for them to be able to figure out what they're really interested in getting involved in. And then also during Welcome Week, we generally have this big fall activities fair on the chapel lawn where everyone comes out, but we are doing that a tad bit differently this year. We are going to do a scavenger hunt. So we will have a fall activities fair. Students will be able to see what different organizations we have out there, but we had to make sure that it was safe and we're practicing social distancing. So our student orgs will be spread out in different locations all around campus, and the students will actually receive an email on the day of the activities fair giving them clues. And the clues will be able to lead them to where the different organizations are. The cool thing about this is, especially for new students, a lot of them may not have been to campus before, or they're still trying to get familiar with campus. So this will allow them to be able to walk around and get comfortable with our campus. But then two, it'll also allow them to think outside of the norm and be able to engage with other students in different ways. Whereas they'll be asked to post pictures on social and post pictures on crew, as well as they're going to the different orgs, they'll have to pick up clues from them as well. So we are, as an institution, not just in my office, we are all thinking of different ways that we can engage with students in a non-traditional way. And the main goal is just to make sure that we all are safe. So we do have options for your students to be engaged and participate in. It may not look like what they thought it would look, but they still will have opportunities to have fun and meet other students. And pretty much that wraps up a lot of the questions that we have. What I wanted to do is end with Lori Gunderson. She is one awesome. I am so happy that she's here on this campus, but I wanted to pull her in to be able to provide you all with a parent view of that first year. And Mrs. Gunderson, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Maya, and thanks to all the parents who are joining us tonight. Greg and I wanted to, on a very personal note, let you know that we have been in your shoes of sending a child off to college. We have two boys. One graduated from college a year ago, and we have one who is still here at Park as a student. And he's lived in both Chestnut Hall and Copley Hall. He's been around now for 3 years. And we have that bird's eye view as administrative people on campus. And then we also have the view that we get from Jack of what it's really like to be here on campus and to live here and to experience student life. And I wanted you to know as parents that we have that very personal connection to your student, that we care deeply about their experience here, and that make that experience a good one. And this is obviously a very different year. And I've spoken to my children about having to grow up maybe a little bit faster than we would in any other time in history, that we're expecting a lot out of our students this year. We're expecting them to follow rules, wearing masks and keeping social distance. That's really difficult when you're 18, 19, 20 years old. And it's going to be a difficult year, but we think the chances to grow this year are incredible. They'll talk about this the rest of their lives. They'll reference back to this year and how unusual of a time in history, and they lived through it. And I think for you as parents, if you can help give them that perspective that this year is special and incredible, and they're going to grow in ways that none of us really understand yet. We may not for a long time. We're here to help them through it. The team that you see on your screen here is just a lot of different people here on this campus who are truly committed to making your students' experience a good one, whether it's in athletics or it's finding the career they want or just obtaining the degree that they've always dreamed of. That's every single person here is here to help your student realize those dreams. And Greg and I feel very strongly that the safety of your students is our #1 priority this year, as in every year. And I'm here to tell you, we live here on the campus 24/7. I'm very comfortable walking around at midnight, at 6 in the morning. It is a very safe campus, and with even fewer students here this year, it'll be fun to really get to know all of your students in a very personal way. It's my favorite part of being on campus is meeting all of the all the students. I think of them as my children, I truly do, and helping them do whatever it is they want to do in life. And so welcome to Park, and thanks for coming in here. Everyone here on the screen is absolutely thrilled to take your calls and answer questions. I know we probably didn't cover everything, but we are all available and willing to help you out. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Maya.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Gunderson. Now, before we end this call, because I know we went over just slightly, but we got so many good questions, I wanted to make sure that we provided everyone with answers for the questions that they asked. Does anyone have anything that they would like to lead with? I know, Flo, I think you wanted to provide your hours that your office is open.
Yes, that would be an important one there. I just wanted to note that we provide tutoring and mentoring services 7 days a week in some format. So the students have it available to them in the evenings and on the weekends. And our general hours are 8 to 4:30, but our tutors work Saturday, Sunday, our mentors work Saturday, Sunday, and all evenings as well, so except Friday. So we have a lot of options for the students to receive the services available to them. Thank you, Maya.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any updates or anything they would want to add? If
Sure,
not,
real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I was just gonna say, I know a lot of people are often question where they should ask a question that they might have. So just a good point is Student Life is a great catch-all for anything, and either we'll help you answer the question or we'll make sure that we connect you with the right office. So if you're ever in a place where you don't know who you should ask, feel free to just contact Student Life. Our email address is studentlife@park.edu. Feel free at any time.
Well, alrighty then. First, I'd like to thank the panelists. Thank you guys for taking time to actually be on this call. I appreciate you guys, and I'm pretty sure the parents appreciate you all as well. And I want to thank the parents. Thank you guys for entrusting your children with us. We have put stuff in place to make sure that the campus is safe. And it looks like Jamie wanted to say something. Yes, no, maybe so.
I was just, thank you, Maya, for all your work with this. I just wanted to share with parents that more information will continue to go out next week to students about what to expect and the policies, expectations. And so feel free to ask your student if they've received that yet, and then go over the information with them. Make sure they understand what's been expected of them. The theme for the year, as Dr. Gunderson said, is One Family and Park United. There's safety is important to us, and so is social responsibility. And so we want students to understand how to keep themselves safe and others safe. And so emails and posts will be going out to encourage your students to read those, please. So look forward to having you here.
Well, on that note, welcome to the family. Thank you guys for logging in, and we look forward to meeting your students when they get on campus. Have a good night.